السيدات والسادة الحضور الكريم، نرحب بكم جميعا. اليوم تعقد الهيئة الوطنية للانتخابات
National Elections Authority holds an important press conference to announce the time schedule for the coming presidential elections. The speech of Councillor Ahmed Bindari, the director of the Executive Bureau of the National Elections Authority. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, a verse from the Holy Quran, consult them, and if you have the will, do it with the support of Allah. Distinguished guests, once more I would like to welcome you and thank you for attending this press conference. Peace be upon you. From this democratic context and in response to most important recommendations of the National Dialogue, the full judicial supervision and oversight over the presidential elections we convene today. The international charters and instruments call for transparent, fair elections as well as judicial supervision of the sorting and counting of votes to secure the confidence of the electors in the process. Here, the presidential elections in Egypt for the year 2024 would be held under full judicial supervision in line with the Constitution and law. The Constitution stipulated that for the selection of the president, and this is the right of all Egyptians to practice their political rights. The National Elections Authority, represented in its chairman and its board of directors and executive body, as well as its staff, pledges before Allah and before you all to exert all their efforts to be up to this brave national responsibility so that the whole process would be accurate and transparent as they have always been. And the whole world has witnessed this. Today is the day of the constitutional right that we all seek to achieve, looking forward to the support of the electors as well as the support of international and national media through raising the constructive awareness and positive interaction, as well as crowning this support with positive participation through voting to draw the future of Egypt with the hands of its own sons. Press and media have always been a real partner to success, and you are the ones who transfer our work and our efforts and convey them to all Egyptians. We are all working towards establishing fair, transparent elections that would reflect the Egyptian public opinion in front of international community. We are honored today to announce the details of the procedures of the coming electoral process, and we are keen on achieving transparency since the beginning of the elections till the end. May God help us to shoulder this responsibility for the future and prosperity of Egypt. Let me invite Judge Walid Hassan Hamza, Deputy President of the Court of Cassation and the Chairman of the National Elections Authority, to deliver his speech and launch officially the elections. In the name of Allah, A verse from the Holy Quran, you work as it would be witnessed by Allah, His Prophet, and His believers. Ladies and gentlemen, the devoted sons of Egypt, the men and women of Egypt, its youth and elders who reside in Egypt and abroad, peace be upon you. Our country, over the past years, passed through a number of difficulties and a number of crises, and a lot of danger surrounded it. Nothing prevented it from bowing or collapsing except the will and the determination and the commitment of its people to protect the independence of its country and to preserve it whatever the price is. And this was done through going to the polling stations and voting in the ballot boxes through all the previous elections to secure a more bright future for our next generation. The Egyptians, through their awareness, has given an exemplary model in protecting Egypt, and if it was not for the confidence of the electors in the Egyptian judiciary and the elections process in all the constitutional elections, the great people of Egypt would have never been able to play this role perfectly. The world has seen this unity around the ballot boxes, and if it was not for that, our country wouldn't have been able to move smoothly from one phase to the other on the path of democracy and stability. The great people of Egypt, a presidential term comes to an end, a term that lasted for 6 years, as mentioned by the Constitution after the endorsement of the Parliament and the referendum of the people in April 2019. And today we are getting ready to move to a new presidential term during which the people would select with a complete will who would lead the path of Egypt in this period. After an effort that lasted for months, in belief of equality and transparency, the National Elections Authority is honored to announce today opening the door for running for the presidential elections for the next 6 years, according to the procedures and conditions stipulated by the decision of the authority. According to the provisions of Constitution and law that regulates this whole process and secures its integrity, the National Elections Authority, with its formation supported by the judges of Egypt, is proud to shoulder this responsibility, this grave national responsibility, and it pledges before all Egyptians to be up to this responsibility and to be able to work in a respectable manner that would be respected inside and abroad. And the authority also promises the great people of Egypt that the election scene would reflect the position of Egypt, and everyone would acknowledge the integrity and impartiality of its elections according to the international standards. And in managing the elections process, we will depend on the conscience of the judges, and we would stand on an equal footing from all candidates without any discrimination. And as we all know, and it is the source of our pride, that these elections would be held as previous elections under full judicial supervision. There would be a judge for every ballot box, and also we'd allow for the media and the civil society organizations, be it national or international, to follow up the elections process so long as it meets the regulations set by the authority. And it's fortunate that this call for candidacy and running for the elections for the year 2024 coincides with the centennial of the first constitutional parliamentary elections in Egypt. History emphasizes that democratic Egypt provides a historical model that we should all be proud of before the world, and that its great people has political will that we need all to reap its fruit in creating our future. The devoted sons of Egypt, the National Elections Authority, developed a time schedule including the durations needed for every step of running for the elections, the candidacy, the voting, as well as announcing the list of candidates, the mechanism for appeal on it, and then announcing the final list, and then starting the platforms, the electoral platforms for the candidacy, and then the silence, and then holding elections abroad and in Egypt, as well as announcing the results afterwards, and then the second run for elections, and finally announcing the final results. One of the most important elements of identifying this time schedule was that it would be within the period of judicial oversight mentioned in law, and it would end in the 17th of January 2024. Accordingly, and since we announced the beginning of the elections to select the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, the National Elections Authority published this morning Resolution 3 for the year 2023, and the resolution as as such. After reviewing Constitution and Law number 2020 of the year 2014, organizing and holding the presidential elections, and Law number 45 of the year 2014 to organize practicing practical rights, and Law number 198 for the year 2017 regarding the National Elections Authority, and after the approval of the Board of Directors of the National Elections Authority in its session held this morning, we announced Article 1, the electors whose names are listed on the database according to provisions of Law 45 of the year 2014, they can practice their political rights. And they are all invited to vote in electing the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt at the polling stations according to the dates set in this resolution. Second article, the election process above mentioned would be held according to this time schedule. Outside, abroad, it would be held on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of December 2024. In the Arab Republic of Egypt, the elections would be held on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, the 10th, 11th and 12th of December 2023. And in case of rerun, the elections outside Egypt would be held on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the 5th, the 6th and the 7th of January 2024, and inside the Arab Republic of Egypt on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 8th, the 9th and the 10th of January 2024. The third article, this resolution would be published in the official gazette and in Al-Akhbar and Al-Jumhuriyya newspapers, and all relevant authorities should implement it. Here are the details of the time schedule. And this schedule then would be published on all media. Receiving the requests for candidacy every day from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. from the 5th of October till the 14th of October 2023, and the last day would end by 2 p.m. publishing and announcing the preliminary list of candidates and the number of supporters for each candidate would be published in Al-Akhbar and Al-Jumhuriyya newspapers on the 16th of October 2023. We would receive the appeals and the challenges of the candidates from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. on 17th and 18th of October. We will check the requests for candidacy and decide upon the challenges and appeals from 19 October till the 21st of October. We will inform the excluded candidates with the decision and the whereases on the 22nd of October. We will receive also the appeals of the excluded candidates from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. on 23rd and 24th of October. We will decide upon the appeals and the challenges on the 26th of October, providing the appeals and register them in the roll of the administrative court on the 27th and 28th of October. The Supreme Administrative Court would adjudicate regarding these appeals and submit the summary of the decision in the official gazette and Al-Akhbar and Al-Jumhuriyya at the expenses of the loser between the 29th of October till the 7th of November. Selecting the candidates for symbols would depend according to the previous submission, and the last day for request would be the 8th of November, announcing the final list of candidates and their symbols and publishing them in the press and the gazette, and starting the elections process would be on the 9th of November. The deadline for waiving the right for candidacy would be the 15th of November. Publishing this wavering would be in the official gazette and on Al-Akhbar and Al-Jumhuriyya on the 16th of November. The electoral platform would stop and the silence would start for the expats abroad from 12 a.m. on the 29th of November. The elections for the Egyptians abroad would be from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Cairo local time and the local time of every country on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of December. And the electoral platform and the silence for the elections in Egypt would start at 12 a.m. on the 8th of December 2023. The elections in Egypt would start from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of December. The sorting and counting and submission of minutes to the general committees and the decisions regarding to appeals and challenges, and the whole voting process and announcing the counting would be on the 13th of December. The authority would receive the appeals regarding the decisions would be on the 14th of December. Deciding upon these appeals would be on the 15th and the 16th of December. announcing the final result and publishing it in the official gazette would be on the 18th of December 2023. Presuming the electoral platform for the rerun and submission of the appeals and listing it in the roll of the Supreme Administrative Court would be on the 19th of December. The decision of the Supreme Administrative Court regarding the appeals and publishing the summary of the decision in the official gazette at the expense of the loser would be from the 21st till the 30th of December 2023. Accordingly, all the previous procedures would be during the year 2023. As for the coming procedures, they will take place during 2024. The end of the electoral platform and starting the silence period abroad would be on the 4th of January 2024. The re-elections abroad would be from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. according to the local time of every country on the 5th, 6th and 7th of January. The end of the electoral platform and the beginning of the silence duration for the re-elections inside Egypt would be the 7th of January 2024. And the re-elections inside Egypt would be from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. on the 8th, 9th and 10th of January 2024. The end of the counting, sorting, submission of reports to the committees and the decisions of the committees regarding the appeals and everything regarding the election process and announcing the count of the votes would be on the 11th of January 2024. The authority would receive the appeals on the decisions of the committees on the 12th of January 2024. Decision on the appeals submitted would be on the 13th and the 14th of January. Announcing the final results of the elections and publishing it in the official gazette would be before the 16th of January. So all the procedures regarding the presidential elections would be finished before the 17th of January 2024, the date set for the end of the judicial oversight according to the Constitution. Great Egyptians, you sacrificed a lot for Egypt to enjoy this security and stability. Preserve this path with your participation in the elections. Voice your opinion in the ballot boxes. Decide your destiny with your own hands. Achieve what you have called for in two revolutions that were noble and pure. Enhance the pillars of democracy and be a role model for all nations as the world has always seen us. Avoid rumors and lies. Abort the conspiracies and know that their only means to destroy what is done by the National Elections Authority is the attempt to raise fear and suspicions. So do not give them this opportunity and participate in these elections as it makes a difference, and be sure that the only goal for everyone is to protect this country and to serve its people. Inscribe history by your own hands. Nations create the future, so create your own future by going to the polling stations and voting. At the end, I need to extend thanks to my colleagues, the members of the Board of Directors of the National Elections Authority and the manager of the executive body of the authority and members of the executive body, as well as the whole staff of the authority for their efforts to achieve this moment, I would like also to extend thanks to all state institutions that contributed and will contribute to the success of these elections. And at the end of my presidency, along with 4 members of the board of directors, due to completing our legal duration for being a member in the authority, I pray to God to enable us to shoulder this responsibility, wishing all success to the Board of Directors of the National Elections Authority in its new formation on the 9th of October 2023, praying God to support the Board of Directors to shoulder this national responsibility. Peace be upon you. The great people of Egypt, our country starts a new democratic chapter that continues what Egypt started since the 2 revolutions, January 2011 and June 2013. And it continues its path towards building a democratic, civic, modern state. Thank you all.
That was live coverage of the press conference by the National Election Authority, where the chief of the authority, Walid Hamza, announced the details of the upcoming presidential elections. The councillor said that the authority is honoured to have the start of a candidacy for a new 6-year term from October 5th until the 14th. He vowed that the